I do speak English. I do speak English? Is that correct? Why don't you just say, I speak English? I'm Teacher Mike, and today we are talking about two of the main reasons why we sometimes put do and did before the main verb in positive sentences. So, usually, in present simple tense, we use subject plus the base form of the verb. For example, I speak English. And in past tense, we usually use subject plus the past form of the verb. For example, I spoke English. However, sometimes we use the base form of the verb with do or did in front of it. For example, I do speak English, or I did speak English. The first reason that we do this is to add emphasis. To add emphasis basically means to really focus on something, or to try to make an idea very strong or very clear. And when we use do and did to add emphasis, this is often because we're saying something that might surprise people, or is the opposite of what another person said. For example, if you speak English, and another person asks you why you don't speak English, you could reply, I do speak English. Or maybe someone thinks that you lied to them, so they ask you why you didn't tell them the truth. In that situation, instead of saying, I told you the truth, you could also say, I did tell you the truth. And sometimes we do this just to make something sound a bit truer or more interesting. For example, maybe someone is cooking something, and your friend makes a comment about how good it smells. You could reply, yeah, that does smell really good. In this one, the word does makes your agreement with the other person sound a bit stronger, and it also just adds a bit more emotion to the sentence. We also sometimes add emphasis with do and did to help show a relationship between two ideas. For example, maybe your friend John says that his brother is lucky because his English is really good. You could reply, well, he does study a lot more than you. In this one, the word does makes it clear that you don't think he's lucky. You think the reason that his English is good is that he studies a lot. And the second reason why we use do and did this way is to show contrast, or to show how one idea is different from another idea. When we use it this way, we often include words like but, although, or however. For example, I'm not from the UK, but I do have friends from there. Or, although she's not a big fan of chocolate, she does like chocolate ice cream. In both of those examples, do just helps to emphasize that one thing really is true, even though we might not expect it to be true based on the other information that we have.